This is 42C. Note number 5, Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, who ruled from 1520 AD to 1566 AD, extended the empire into Mesopotamia and the Balkan Peninsula in Eastern Europe. And actually, some of the unrest there due to the ethnic groups in the Balkans, and the Balkans is this region, Serbs, etc., being controlled by the Ottomans. Some of that unrest there is begun when Suleiman takes over. So the Ottoman Empire and then acquisitions up to 1520, so just really acquires a lot, including Egypt. Note number 6, from 1526 to 1529, the Ottoman expansion was halted at the Battle of Vienna in Austria. But the Ottomans remained a threat to Western Europe for centuries. So one of the reasons that Western Europeans felt like they had a spiritual obligation to serve in the army and to keep their armies strong was they did not want an Islamic ruling system, which often forces conversion to Islam and the lack of freedom for Christian churches to operate as Christian churches will take them over kind of as mosques, as it did with the Hagia Sophia and some other examples. In Western Europe, they felt that they could not lose that missionary sending ground. So they had to hold strong in Western Europe, and there were some key battles for that. So that's something we don't always think about today. Note number 7, geographically and culturally, the Ottoman Empire linked Europe through Eastern Europe, Asia through Turkey, etc., Middle East, and Africa, a lot of. Okay, note number 8 is that Suleiman created the devshirme, which was conscription of Christian boys in the Balkans. You can see where that could lead to some unrest. And they were forced to convert to Islam, and they were forced to be soldiers. And these soldiers were called Janissaries. Number 9, Janissaries were not allowed to wear beards. And until 1566, they were not allowed to marry. It'd be kind of sad if you had a sweetheart. Note number 10, these Christian slave soldiers could attain elite status in the empire. The devshirme did allow for social mobility, and many families ended up competing for honor. Suleiman restructured the Ottoman legal system. And because of that, Ottomans call Suleiman the lawgiver. And there you can read that quote. He was a military campaigner, a man of the sword, like his father, his great-grandfather. He was also a legislator. Number 12, in the early 1500s AD, the Ottomans lost control of the Indian Ocean trade routes to the Portuguese. This little country gave them a run for their money in this region for trading. Note number 13, in 1571 AD, the Ottomans lost the Battle of Lepanto, which was a naval battle against Philip II of Spain for control of the Mediterranean Sea. And this was key, and the gospel could spread to the other lands through the Mediterranean Sea. Number 14, by the mid-1600s, the Ottoman Empire was showing signs of decline. They lost trade routes, as we've said, Indian Ocean, Mediterranean Sea. There was too much territory to administer. Peasants were revolting, and there was corruption. And you can see some lovely residents of the city there. Now we're going to talk about the Safavid Empire, the next gunpowder empire. So the Safavid Empire. This one began in 1501 AD, the Safavid, by Ismail, which is very similar to Ishmael, who